I need to get back to my roots.
How so?
The last couple days have been really, high energy doing the show, you know what I mean? We've been like doing all the
3-hour spectacular yesterday.
Well, yesterday, yeah, but doing all the handicapping and really high energy talking about the games. I feel like sometimes I'm talking like a mile a minute and just like talking at you, and there's no real dialogue going on. So I'm making a conscious effort today, Brian. I gotta chill, man. I got my vibes. I got to get back to my roots of doing. Remember when I first started here, Brian? Now, obviously, unless we have any devoted listening
well,
public
you didn't know
that
anything
listens.
back then. I taught you everything you know.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Well, the point I was going to make was, remember I had all these ideas and I was very high. No, I don't want to say high energy, but off the wall
you're pretty high energy.
Off the wall
off
and
beaten path,
and zany
zany
and a little bit more relaxing. Trying to create a chill environment that's nice to listen to. Just while you're driving to work in the morning, or maybe you don't work till later in the day. Maybe it's your off day. Whatever the case might be, I just want to create that relaxing environment. And the last couple of days have been super high energy. Now, I do have bets for today, too. I'm not going to pretend like I don't. I do have that, I have them ready to go. But I don't want to get to that, I want to take our time there. Maybe we never get to it, Bryant. I just don't really know. And here's what else I want to do. I want to talk to you and just see how you're doing. You know what else I want to do? 901-360-8255. I'm giving out the number periodically. Call us. We got to get involved with the listeners, too. Literally any question. Sports, anything. You know what? I'll make Brian answer it, too. We'll both answer it.
Wow. Double answer.
Any question. I don't care. It's sports. You want to talk about the Tigers? Talk about the Tigers. You want to ask me what my favorite farm animal is? Ooh. Ask me what my favorite farm animal is. Ask me literally anything. 901-360-8255. That number's here for you. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk to. But, Brian, how are you doing, man? What have you been up to?
I'm great. I'm just, watching some baseball.
Well, you've been talking a lot on the radio the past couple of days. So you went home and watched a lot of baseball yesterday?
No, actually, my best friend's in town from Dallas, so we went out to dinner last night.
Is that right?
Got some grub.
Where'd you go, if you don't mind me asking?
Margaritas in Collierville.
That place is Margaritas is brand new.
It's fairly new, yeah. We tried to go to Huey's.
Out
Huey's
there
was packed.
in deep by the movie theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we tried to go to Huey's. Huey's was packed. So then we just drove and landed where we landed, and that was Margaritas.
How about? Did you like it?
It was good food. Yeah.
Did he get a margarita? Did you get a margarita?
No, I think both of us got water.
Is that right? If you go to Margaritas, you got to try the margarita. Maybe I'll go there soon and I'll tell you how the margarita
try the
is.
margarita.
Do you have a review what you get to eat? You're very basic.
Gets the margarita.
I know exactly what you got to eat. You got chicken with rice.
There might have been chicken. There might have been rice.
And queso cheese on top.
There might have been queso cheese on top.
That's redundant queso cheese, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Melted cheese on top.
That's right.
Good Lord, man. Branch out, son.
It's good, though.
Tell you what.
It's tasty.
Tell you what.
I mean, if it's good, it's good.
I mean, you don't go to a new restaurant and try one of the things that they want you to try, like one of the maybe specials or something like that.
If it's on their menu, I order it.
Is that right?
If it's not on their menu, I don't order it.
It's always on the menu. So are chicken tenders on every menu. So, there's no reason by that logic to ever try anything else ever. And that's probably what you get at most places, isn't it?
Chicken tenders?
Yeah, or something like that. No?
I mean, if I go to a restaurant that's like a chicken place, I'll get chicken tenders.
Right.
Like if I go to Chick-fil-A, I'll get chicken tenders.
Right.
If I go to Slim Chickens, I'll get chicken tenders.
901-360-8255. Literally any question you have, I'll answer it. 901-360-8255. So that's all you went out to dinner last night?
That's basically it. We just hung out for 4 or 5 hours.
You been watching anything other than baseball? Anything good in your life, man? What are you watching?
It's been a lot of baseball. I don't watch a lot of stuff. Watch YouTube. That's basically it. I don't really watch shows. Hate to say.
Well, those are two thought-provoking ideas I thought would spark conversation. Neither worked. Do you have a third idea? Is there literally anything that you're interested in talking about?
I mean, yesterday was such a whirlwind of a day. I just didn't do anything.
Oh, really? What about the day before that? What did you do the day before that?
I can't remember that far.
What about the day before that? What did you do over the weekend? What's today, Wednesday? Let's talk about your weekend. What did you do over the weekend?
I don't like these questions.
901-360-8255. Literally ask anything. You have a question for me? You ask me something.
What did you do over the weekend?
What did I do over the weekend? I had a very relaxing weekend. I watched a lot of television. I tell you what. So I do this thing where I get all of these shows and put them on a giant hard drive. I call it creating my own streaming service. So,
like it.
I'll get the DVDs of a show or something like that and then rip them on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I like old sitcoms and old TV shows of all sorts of varieties and stuff like that. So I've got no problem watching stuff. So I put a bunch of them in a video player called VLC where you can create your own video playlists, and I put them on random, and I really just sat around and watched these different shows on rotation. King of Queens is in there, great show. 2.5 Men, a fine program. The Big Bang Theory had animated shows too. I really like Bob's Burgers. There's a new show on Fox called The Great North from the same folks. I really like that show as well. Had Futurama in there. They just started new episodes on Hulu. Love that show, by the way. Highly recommend that to anybody. What else is in there? Oh, It's Gary Shandling's show is in there, which is a great program. Oh, Lord, I'll tell you, that's a funny show right there, man. Gary Shandling in it. I watched an episode the other day that had Rob Reiner in it. You know Rob Reiner?
No.
Meathead?
No.
All in the Family?
No.
Ring any bells?
Mm-mm.
So pretty much what I'm understanding here is unless we talk about the baseball games that are going to take place today, we have literally nothing to talk about.
No, I mean, we can talk about whatever. I mean, it's...
Anything in baseball games that strike your interest yesterday?
From Valdez.
Obviously, through a no-hitter. Oh, yes,
A
yes.
no-hitter.
Okay, we talked about that. Anything like and genuinely strike your interest yesterday? Or did Framber Valdez throwing a perfect game, or a no-hitter, genuinely strike your interest, or do you just bring it up because that's the baseball news from yesterday?
No, I mean, it does strike my interest, but also,
Like, were you watching that game? Do you have a vested interest in that game?
I was listening to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. And then we were watching the Cubs-Reds game.
Oh, is that right?
It's my buddy's Reds.
A lot of scoring in that baseball game.
A lot of runs. Merry-go-round day at Wrigley. It was a lot of runs. Probably should have been on the over on that one.
Interesting.
That's on you.
I suppose it is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Any other game pique your interest yesterday?
No, not really.
I'll tell you, I was watching the Marlins and the Phillies game yesterday, and Sandy Alcantara pitched a hell of a game through 8 full innings, no-run baseball. Not sure how many hits he gave up, but I tell you what, the Marlins had 9 hits and were only able to muster 1 run across in 8 innings. They left the bases loaded twice, I think second and third 2 more times. It was an embarrassing failure in leaving runners on base yesterday. And then the 9th inning, they put in David Robertson, who you might remember last year from the playoffs, pitching for who did David Robertson pitch in the playoffs for? It was the Astros last year, wasn't it?
It was, yep.
In the World Series. So he won a World Series last year, and he's a cutter slider guy. Man, we love guys that throw pitches that break the same way, just a little bit more than another. I personally don't like that at all, but it is very popular. Nonetheless, he got rocked. So there's a double.
Wow.
Guys on second base. Bryce Harper then hits a double off the wall, just out of the reach of, I think it was Brian De La Cruz off the wall. So he gets a double, tied 1-1. Then Nick Castellanos comes up, and it's a bomb.
Wow.
2-run blast, 3-0. 3-1. Just embarrassing to lose that game. Sandy Alcantara, his last 2 starts against the Phillies, he's absolutely shoved 7 innings or more. Yesterday he went 8 innings and lost those baseball and hadn't gotten a win in either game. It's embarrassing.
You know,
that just shows this team has no chance to win in the playoffs. I mean, not even a chance in hell.
That's a good point.
Not at all. We talk about how good these teams are, how well they're playing. Most of them probably don't have a chance in God's green earth, and the Marlins are one of them. They freaking stink.
Yep. One game I was paying attention to last night because you brought up a good point that I hadn't really paid attention to this year about Zach Greinke. Because I'll be honest, the Royals just don't strike my interest most nights when I'm watching baseball, so I don't watch him much. But you brought up the good point that when they're playing at home and he's pitching, he's really good at home.
Yeah,
and so I was paying attention to that game, and you're spot on. He was really good last night. Both pitchers were good last night. Very low scoring early, and so something to keep an eye on for Zach Greinke because I think a lot of people are losing their the kind of luster surrounding Zach Greinke and kind of the pitcher that he is.
Yeah, that's a couple of times that I found value on Zach Greinke going there. Maybe it doesn't happen the next time. And I shouldn't really be touting value because I've been on the negative side the last 2 days, unfortunately.
Yeah,
However, there's always, just keep doing the same thing that we've been doing, and
sun will come up tomorrow.
Hopefully it turns around. We're going to need to kind of get back to basics here today, kind of doing the same things and stuff like that. So hopefully we've got a good day today. We got a lot of games today. Braves Angels go today. That series is tied 1-1. That'll be a good one. Brewers Nationals is tied 1-1, so that series will be good going today. I think the Pirates. No, that was only played one game. The Pirates beat the Tigers yesterday. What other games going? Oh, Padres and Rockies are tied 1-1. The Rockies won Game 1 of that series in a delay. That game was delayed heavily the first day, so it kind of throws everything off a little bit. And, the way it played, that game's in Colorado, and, people always say run, so that'll be an interesting one to look at. Joe Musgrove on the mound in that one. Red Sox Mariners is a series that's tied 1-1 going into today. What other series are going tonight? There's a lot of series tied 1-1, I feel like, that are continuing to go. Orioles and Blue Jays isn't tied 1-1.
No, it's not.
Is not. I guess that's about it, isn't it?
It's those are the two that come to the
Reds
to the top of
Cubs
my
isn't
head.
because the Cubs have no. The
Reds Cubs is.
Reds Cubs is tied 1-1 and two lefties going today, so that'll be an interesting one there too. So should be good stuff going today.
Should be.
Got a lot of good games, Brian.
I was thinking of a question for you.
Okay.
May I ask it?
Sure.
Have you ever played glow-in-the-dark golf?
No. To what is glow-in-the-dark golf? Does it speak for itself?
Yeah, it's just you're hitting golf balls that light up. I just thought it'd be. I didn't know you play a lot of golf, so I was curious if you'd ever played it.
No, I've never
done it.
Never done it glow-in-the-dark style.
Interesting.
Have you ever done glow-in-the-dark golf?
No, but I kind of want to. It looks interesting.
Interesting.
I saw a video this morning of the Tigers down in Bahamas playing glow-in-the-dark golf.
Wow, really? So that's what. Oh, so they're already having a good time. If they played a game yet in the Bahamas?
No, they played a game today. But I was like, man, I've never hit glow-in-the-dark golf balls. That seems fun.
So no games, but one round of glow-in-the-dark golf.
But it wasn't really. It was more like a top golf kind of format where they were just.
They were just swinging.
Hitting. Yeah, they weren't really playing golf.
Anybody look good? Anybody have a good swing? Anybody you like?
No. It was only 4 videos, and a couple of them looked like they'd never picked up a golf club before.
Really?
But that's how I look when I get on the golf course, so no shame in that.
Okay. Well, that's good. No, I've never played glow-in-the-dark golf. Never in my life. Not once. Well, I wasn't going to handicap any games until we got to the next segment. I really, truly thought that we could make it 20 minutes through with a little bit of conversation. But it would appear I would be wrong. We are talked out, and it's not even noon on a Wednesday. Got nothing else to talk about. Bryant, got anything to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Totally out of things to talk about. Watch AEW tonight. If you're into wrestling, I've been into wrestling as of late.
You have been into
Been watching a lot of wrestling, and there's a good wrestling event tonight, AEW Dynamite. It's on TBS. It's really fun to watch. They do a really good job. It's very entertaining. And I'm not like a big wrestling person. I never watched wrestling as a child, but I've just recently picked up watching it, and I've really enjoyed it.
You're really into it.
It's really fun to watch. I've tried to get into watching it a couple times, and it's kind of hit a little bit, but I've never stuck with it. This time I've stuck with it. It's been good few months now that I've been sticking with it and watching wrestling. So watch that tonight. I guess I've exhausted everything I talked about. Interesting. All right, well, let's talk about these games that are going today. Without further ado, let's talk about these games that are going today. I'm trying to see if there's any other games that happened yesterday we want to talk about. No, the Cardinals lose yesterday, right?
Yeah, what's new?
What else is new, I suppose? The Angels-Braves series has been really weird yesterday. No runs in that one for real, but that makes sense. Spencer Strider got to 200 Ks. He's now the fastest pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball. 200 strikeouts, breaking the record set by Spencer Strider last season, where he set the record for being the fastest pitcher to 200 strikeouts. So beat his own record there, too. I thought that was interesting.
It is interesting.
However,
machine.
Not good for overbettors if you had that yesterday in those games, because Spencer Strider shoved yesterday.
Sure did.
And I forget who was pitching for. It was Patrick Sandoval. Going for the Angels, and he pitched pretty well, too. That was a low-scoring game. Like you said, Mets-Royals is pretty low-scoring. Zach Greinke continued to pitch well. Jose Quintana, I don't know, grain of salt against the Royals, but also pitched well in that game.
They still lost that game. Interesting enough in extra innings.
Red Sox Mariners. Brian Bello goes the over 17 and a half outs. Like we said, he continues to pitch deep into games. That was a really good one. What do you think about that game?
Well, obviously being a Mariners fan, I kind of on the losing side of that one. But you're right. I think both pitchers looked good early. Bryce Miller, the young rookie, kind of lost it in the 4th and 5th inning. Kind of gave up some hits here, runs here. But yeah, I mean that's a good. I think that's a good series. Seattle won the first one in a very low scoring, kind of back and forth. I think the final score was 6-2 in the first one, but it was really 1-1 up until like the 6th or 7th inning. So that one's been a really fun series and should be a good third game today.
I agree. You know what? I think we filibustered long enough now where we can take a break. The machines and the AI that works and overpowers us here will allow us to play commercials after this amount of time of talking. So we're going to do that, and we're going to come back a little bit early, and we're going to handicap the games today. Back after this.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawald Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawald is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Lonely feeling deep inside. Find a corner so I can hide. Silent footsteps crowding me. Sudden darkness, but I can see. No sugar tonight in my coffee. No sugar tonight in my tea. No sugar to stand beside me. No sugar to run with me.
So I haven't finished going through the whole slate of games today. I've only really done the games until they start at 6 o'clock there. So there's a whole afternoon slate. It's like half and half kind of today. Half the games start before 6 and half start after 6. And I was just looking a second ago at this Rays-Yankees game. That's the first game that starts. That starts at 6:05 our time here on MLB Network. It is tonight. And it's Shane McClanahan against Garrett Cole. And I'm looking at Shane McClanahan's numbers, and he has a 6 ERA in the month of July. And it's all against great teams. Houston, Baltimore, Texas Rangers, and that's scary as hell because it changes the way the game is, and it's scary to bet against Garrett Cole with Shane McClanahan. But Shane McClanahan's a Cy Young candidate right there. It's just scary. That was a scary game to bet. Is my point right there. When teams up 2-0 in a series like that, especially in a divisional series, and I like a team like the Rays, just looking at Shane McClanahan, it makes me like the Rays there, even against Garrett Cole. That's terrifying. On the road, I'm taking the Rays to sweep the Yankees. That would be insane. But you can get real good value on that. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yankees.
What's that?
I'm out on the Yankees.
Why is that?
I just don't like them. I don't think they're very good.
But there has to be a reason. You can't just.
I've been watching them the last week. They just can't score runs. I don't like. I just don't think they're very good right now.
Hey, famous last words. That's the words you say right before they have a game where they score a ton of runs.
I hope they start scoring runs. I mean, the amount of times I've tried to back them and they just haven't scored runs.
Yeah, no kidding about that. But they're also fighting for their lives in a certain sense. And I guess Garrett Cole, his ERA is really low, has 9 wins on the year too, a better ERA than Shane McClanahan, and still has less wins. I think that can be said for a lot of pitchers. Joe Musgrove, he has a better ERA than Joe Musgrove, less wins. Those are just guys going today. I'm just looking through here. Wow, he has ERA almost two runs better than Joe Ryan, and Joe Ryan has the same amount of wins as he does. That's crazy. Yeah, so no run support. That's a good example of that right there. First game today is on MLB Network, but not for us here in Memphis because it's on Bally and it's Angels and Braves. This one goes off at 11:20 here, so just a little bit under an hour from now. I'm very interested in this game for a variety of reasons. The Braves are an in-market team. I like the Braves. But also this series is tied 1-1. It's kind of been back and forth. The Angels have been playing better baseball, not only in this series, but over this last stretch. They've really been playing well. Kind of a shutdown game. We talked about it a minute ago yesterday in this one. Nobody was scoring runs in this game yesterday. But today's game has a little bit of a different flavor. Instead of Spencer Strider on the mound and guys shoving, Lucas Giolito making his second start with the Angels. His first start, he had a 5 1/3 innings pitch. He gave up 6 hits and 3 runs, 2 bombs in that game, and he had 5 Ks. That was on the road against Toronto. In July, I don't know what these splits mean because it's with 2 different teams, but I'll say them anyway. In July, he has a 4.98 in ERA, almost 5, 2.32 ERA in June, but every other month other than June, it was an ERA over 4. So I would say June is probably an anomaly there. Yeah. His last, this looks like 6 outings here. So 6 outings in July, he allowed 2 runs, no runs on the road in Minnesota. Throw it out. 8 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs. 2 or 3 seems like, but again, that's hard to judge. It's on 2 different teams. But I mean, I just said 2 runs a lot there. I mean, that's a lot of 2 runs there. And the only time I said less than 2 runs was when I said 0 against the Twins. The Braves certainly hit better than the Twins. So that's the one side of that. What do you think about Giolito there?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's so hard. Obviously, it seems like everybody, for all the additions for the Angels, have really stepped up since they've acquired them. I saw Randall Grichuk had a hit early last night against the Braves. So, I mean, what says Lucas Giolito, after one start kind of under his belt, doesn't kind of bounce back? But Giolito's kind of been up and down all season. So
another starter making his second start for a new team, Tommy Chirinos for the Braves. 3 2/3 innings pitched in his first outing, 6 hits, 4 runs. That was against Milwaukee. There was a lot of runs in that Milwaukee Braves series. He's given up 2, 3, 4 runs every start he goes. Yeah. Every time he starts, he gives up 2, 3, 4 runs. That's going back to Tampa, obviously. The only exception is on the road in Arizona on June 29th when he was with Tampa. He went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits and 1 run. So 7 hits and 1 run kind of tells me all right, man, you kind of got lucky to only give up 1 run. You maybe should have given up more than 1 run there. So that's the one anomaly, and I think I can kind of explain that one away. Finally, here's what I like in this game. I took 3 of the. Here's what I took. The Braves first 5 minus half a run. I got it plus 105. And I also took the Braves minus a run and a half for the game at plus 120. To hedge that, Chirinos gives up a lot of runs, man. So I took the Angels team total in the first 5 innings over 2.5 runs at plus 110. And I also wrote down first 5 over 5.5 runs. I stayed away from that because I took the Angels over and I took the Braves in 2 different run line situations. So it seemed like taking the over was a little bit redundant. The Angels team total over, however, does cover me in some senses. Here's one I didn't take. I've got a few player props on the board here today that are kind of a little bit pricey, and I really only want to take one of them. So this is the first one I'm going to throw at you, and I want you to decide when we're kind of all said and done which one you like the best. The first one is Giolito under 5.5 strikeouts today. That's minus 135. That's kind of where he gets, is about 5 strikeouts, and the Braves hit the ball too. There's no way he goes over 5 strikeouts today, I would say, but that's a little bit of a steep price. Maybe you like one of the other ones we have a little bit later. What do you think about all those plays there when it's all said and done?
Okay, so let me make sure I have these right. So ATL minus half run first 5, ATL game minus 1.5, then
Angels team total over
2.5, and then Lucas Giolito.
No. I didn't take Giolito, and I didn't take the over 5.5 in the first 5.
Gotcha.
I also wrote down over 10 minus 120. I don't know if you like any of the overs there. What do you think about those plays?
I mean, I definitely think I like Atlanta half and game.
Series is tied 1-1. The Braves are winning today, by golly. Are you kidding me? They are not going to lose the series to the Angels. I don't care what they just traded for. I'm willing to bet on it, especially for plus money.
Well, and I mean, plus money 100%, but also, I mean, you just watch this team and how well they hit the ball night in, night out. I mean, it's really it seems like an anomaly at this point that they don't go out and score 4 or 5, 6 runs in a game.
And they haven't the last 2
games. So I think you could see a lot of runs. And if you watched last night's game, especially early, they had runners on base. They were getting guys on base. It was just like bottom of the first inning, they get who got on base first?
Acuna,
It was Acuna. Yeah, first batter gets on base, but then he gets picked off, and so you got 1 down.
And then Albies gets in.
Albies hits in the gap that probably would have at least gotten Acuna first to third, and then you probably have second and third with no outs. But instead, you have a man on second with 1 out, and I think the next guy got out. Whatever happened, I think they scored 1 run in the first inning, but they were getting hits early and had guys on base early. I think you see the same thing tonight against Giolito.
So I think that's what we like in this one. Braves minus a half a run. Braves minus a run and a half for the Braves minus half a run in the first 5 innings. Braves minus a run and a half for the game. And rather than taking any of the overs, I think we take the Angels first 5 team total over 2.5 plus money there. I think that's a good hedge for that.
I like that.
Tigers Pirates is the next one. This one will be on MLB Network today since we have the Angels and Braves in market here. This has been a weird series, man. Yesterday's game was really weird, I should say. The Pirates have the 6th most strikeouts in July also. Pirates have won 3 straight games. The Tigers have dropped 2 straight now. Again, only 1 game in this series, but the Pirates have now rattled off 2 in a row somehow. And the Tigers have dropped 2 straight. They have 3-7 in their last 10. Tough series with the Marlins, but that was a lot of runs in that series too. Tigers just hard to gauge. We talked about that yesterday. Here's who's on the mound today, a guy that just did not waive his no-trade clause, and one of Bryant's favorite pitchers, Eduardo Rodriguez. He's got a 5.66 ERA in July, though, but he had a 2.03 in June. I'm more concerned about July.
Yeah.
In first 5 innings, this is the run lines. He's given up 4 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 5 runs, and then his last 2 in June, 1 run and 4 runs. How about this? He's had 6 or more strikeouts in 5 of his last 6 games and 7 of his last 10.
Wow.
However, 5 strikeouts against Pittsburgh on May 17th. Not that 1 game sample size is any indicative of anything. I'm much more confident in the 7 of the last 10 and 5 of the last 6, but that is just something to point out.
Something to keep an eye on.
Pirates also, again, like I said, 6 most strikeouts in July. How about this? Osvaldo Bido pitching for the Pirates today, a 4.09 in July. his outing here: 0 runs in 3 innings pitched,
Wow.
3 runs in 2 2/3, 0 runs in 1 1/3, and 2 runs in 4 innings pitched. That tells you basically they pull him at the first sign of trouble to stop the bleeding. And I was looking through the box scores of the games he pitched in, and it works. When they pull him out, it stops the bleeding. The bullpen seems to take care of business whenever Beto pitches. And there wasn't a lot of runs in yesterday's games. The bullpens in this game is not tired. That could be a factor. Here's what I have. We talked about prop bets. I got 2 on this game to put with Giolito there, weigh them against each other. Remember, it was Giolito under 5.5 strikeouts at -135. Ed Rod over 5.5 strikeouts is -120. Remember, 5 of his last 6 and 7 of his last 10, but only 5 in the first outing against Pittsburgh. Osvaldo Beto under 15.5 outs is -190. That one is super steep, but he has not gone 5 innings yet. And you're giving me 15.5? I don't care if it's -490, for goodness sakes. Actually, I do care if it's -490. But, quite frankly, 190 I don't really care a whole lot about. I just got to be honest. But that's another one there. How about game numbers here? Pirates' first 5 team total over 1.5. Eduardo, while he does strike guys out, always gives up runs. Pirates don't score a lot, which makes that scary. It's also -150, which makes it scary. And the over 8.5 runs for the game is -105. Both these guys can give up runs. It could be a bullpen day for the Pirates. Sometimes he only goes an inning and a third or something like that. Beto does. So it could be a bullpen game. Kind of scary taking it over with the Tigers and Pirates. We also took it yesterday. It didn't hit. I haven't taken anything in this game. What do you think about everything I just said? That was a lot of talking.
So I would say if you want to get the over on strikeouts for Eduardo Rodriguez, get it fast, because I'm already seeing it at 150. So you need to make a move if you want to get that. I think it's just, are you going to trust these hitters for Detroit early on your second play against Beto? Because I like the play, but are we going to trust Detroit's hitters to kind of get some hits early and kind of make the Pittsburgh staff say we got to pull this guy?
Maybe so. I would say Eduardo Rodriguez, not at -150, but if you could still find it at 20 or something like that, somewhere where I found it, that would honestly be a play that I would be confident in playing and still would have money left over.
But when you
take another prop bet that we talk about later.
When you look at Beto's last outings, it's not like he's playing like world beaters. Like it's the Angels, 3 innings, San Francisco.
But that was his last one, and we just talked about how good the Angels have been.
That's true. But San Francisco, we know San Francisco can't hit the ball.
Agreed.
He only went 2.2 innings.
3 runs, too.
3 runs. One in the third inning against Arizona, which very hit or miss with Arizona's bats. Dodgers, he did go 4 innings. And then Milwaukee, 3.1. That's his last, 5 outings?
Yeah, 4 innings against the Dodgers and the good outing against the Brewers as well. Those gave me pause. But like you said, those are the last 2 you mentioned because they're the furthest back in the timeline. What have you done for me lately?
I think I trust. I've watched a lot of Detroit. I feel like the last couple of weeks, it seems like they're always on or they're always playing day games or something. And I feel like these bats can, kind of hit around a little bit. So I say go for it, especially if you can get at plus money.
Maybe so. Tough stuff there. Tough stuff. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay away from everything there. Sorry, I was just trying to ponder there.
No, I'm kind of with you on that.
Ed Rodriguez is moving up too much. The best, while you were talking there, I just looked at all the books, and the best I could find is -140 for over 5.5 strikeouts. So it's moved up a considerable amount there. So like you said, if you are going to take that, if that's something you would be interested in. And I do like the play. It might be a little too steep for me. I'm trying to take more plus money bets today. But I guess I could afford one, and I do like that one quite a bit. I like Beto under 15.5 outs a lot better, though, but that's -190.
Now, I'm seeing 14.5.
Oh, so it's moved down.
Preferred
well, I'll keep looking at all the different ones.
Now, 14.5, if you're comfortable with 14.5, it's like plus 130. But
Yeah,
that's
14 and a half. I
extremely
just saw
steep.
plus 130 somewhere as well. You're
And
right.
that's you're holding on for your dear life through this first 3
Yeah,
innings.
wow, yeah, it's 15 and a half like everywhere now.
You mean 14 and a half?
I have 14, thank you, 14 and a half like everywhere. I'm looking now. Wow, how about that? Something else.
See, that's why you handicap these games early. I mean, you get ahead of the
You get ahead of it,
ahead of
baby.
the regular better.
Okay, how about this? Let's go to a game that I do have a lot of plays for
Okay,
that I
let's do
like
it.
a lot. 12:05 is Brewers and Nationals. This series is tied 1-1.
I might respectfully hold out on discussion of this game
Both teams, why is that?
because I love Mackenzie Gore.
Both teams are playing great baseball right now too. Truly hitting the ball well. 2 lefties on the mound today as well. So those give us a few more splits that we can look at. Maybe help us to inform us a little bit. How about this? The Brewers have the 2nd worst average against lefties and the 4th worst
Wow.
OPS. The Nationals have the 4th best average against lefties and the 7th best OPS.
Wow.
So kind of polar opposites in that regard. Listen to this. Wade Miley 3.27 with 2 starts in July. He went a 1.20 with 3 starts in June. He has not thrown since July 9th. In his last 5 starts, though, his run lines are 0, 4, 2, 0, and 0. Kind of hard to gauge. Let's go to Mackenzie Gore. Also a lefty going today, 6.64 in July. He shoved it home and he was hit on the road. That's kind of the way it goes. 3 runs his last outing, 0, 1, 1, and then 7 where they gave up 19 in the first 5 in that game. Here's what I have here today. I am trusting Mackenzie Gore.
Oh, I love to hear that.
And I kind of trust Wade Miley to a certain extent, so here's what I'm taking.
Okay.
Maybe I don't trust Mackenzie Gore. I'm taking a Nerfy for half a unit here,
Wow.
minus 110. I'm taking a Nerfy, half a unit, minus 110. Nationals' first 5 money line is even money. I'm going to go ahead and take that as well. It's Wade Miley's first start since July 9th, and by golly, the Nationals are playing good baseball. I'm
They
going
sure
to
are.
say that's tough to do, having not pitched in so long, coming out there and throwing against this team right now. I'm going to take the Nationals on the money line there. I'm also going to take the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings at even money there. And I'm going to hedge all of those, both of those together. I'm going to hedge all of it with Brewers' first 5 team total over 2.5 runs at plus 115.
I like them.
I think that hedges all of them pretty well. Those are all plus
and
money bets.
Gore is so hit or miss.
Yeah, very
he's
much
either going
so.
to give up 0 runs or he's going to give up 10 runs.
So that gives us a lot of chances to win 2 out of 3 there, and they're all plus money bets.
Yeah.
So I took a lot there. What do you think about all that?
No, I like that a lot. I mean, I think at the very least, I think both these guys come out early and look good in the first inning, and then after that, I mean, like you said, those splits kind of speak volumes against left-handed pitchers. So I think you kind of feel good about the money line there for Washington. I feel like they play better in day games than they do in night games, and then you kind of under 4.5, kind of same thing. You're just trusting the pitchers there, but again, like I said about our boy Mackenzie Gore. You're either going to get the best Mackenzie Gore or you're going to get the worst Mackenzie Gore. There's not much in between.
Very up and down there. And Wade Miley, while he's been really good, hadn't pitched in a while, and we're talking about how hot the Nationals are, and they hit lefties well. I'm willing to bet on that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I just feel it in my gut, and you got to go with the gut, don't you?
Yeah, all the time.
You always got to go with the gut. Next game is we got time for one more here before a break, and then we'll do the last ones on the other side.
Let's do it.
4 more, 3 more, 4 more, something like that.
Something like that.
This one might be anticlimactic too. Guardians and Astros. So the Astros just named a pitcher. So we're gonna have to handicap him live here on the air.
Live
But
handicap.
how about that?
Wait,
live?
who just? Oh, the Astros just named.
The Astros
Gotcha.
just named a pitcher. So here's what we're doing. Here's what I got for you right now. The Astros lead this series 2-0. The Guardians were no hit yesterday. That was big news. We talked about it in the first segment, actually. Tanner Bibby is on the mound for the Guardians today. He has a 4.33 on the road, a 1.78 in July, and then a 5.04 in June. Those are numbers that are all over the place.
Wow.
Tanner Bibby, here's his run lines. Here's just road games by themselves. I have all of them together. Here's if I do last 5, okay? Here we are. Here's last 5. 3 runs, 0 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 0 run.
Okay.
Kind of all over the place, just like we just said, right?
Pretty good.
3, 0, 2, 1, 0. It's hard to bet from a range from 0 to 3 there. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Those are right where the numbers are going to be. How about this one, though? If I do just road games, these are his last 6 road games. 3 runs, 2 runs, 0, 3, 6, 3. There's only one of those that's below 2. There's
higher,
2 of those that are below 3. So 2 or more seems like a pretty safe bet looking at that right there. And the Astros are up 2-0. That kind of makes it tough to gauge. Sometimes you sit guys when you do that. It's just hard to say. But let's just keep that in mind. He hasn't been good in his road outings. The guy throwing for the Astros. Ronel Blanco. Blanco?
Yep, Blanco.
I don't know anything about Ronel Blanco, but he has made a few starts this year. He seems to bounce up and down between AAA and the majors.
Yeah, and he's spent some time in their bullpen, too, this year. He's more of a bullpen guy.
Hasn't started since July 6th. He went 6 innings and allowed 3 runs in that game. All 3 of those runs came in the first 5 innings. The game before that, he went 5 full innings and allowed 3 runs at the Rangers. Allowed 3 runs in the first inning against the Dodgers, but went 6 full innings, didn't allow another run. Against Cincinnati, he gave up 5 and 5 2/3, and 3 of those came in the 6th inning. So only 2 in the first 5 innings there. So kind of pretty good there. I would say 2 runs is the number we're looking at for Bianco there. So our first 5 number, so we said 2 for sure kind of as our gauge for both guys there.
Definitely.
4.5 is the number Vegas has given us for the first 5. It's minus 120. I don't really like any of that.
The over is minus 120?
Over is minus 120.
A lot of people think there's going to be runs here. The game over is at like 9.5, and it's minus 120.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really...
8.5, excuse me.
8.5. Yeah, I don't really care for that very much. I don't really like anything here.
No.
I know I'm putting pressure on myself to come up with something live here, but I just don't see anything.
Don't put pressure on yourself.
Thank you.
I mean, it's if there's not a bet there, you can't force a bet. That's when you start losing money, is when you start forcing bets. You just got to bet what you feel good on, you know?
Yeah, I don't have anything. That's anticlimactic for the end of the segment.
But hey, you called it. You said it could be anticlimactic.
I did call it, didn't I? Well, when we come back, we got 3 more games. It won't be anticlimactic because we actually have bets for those games. Back after this.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure. Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Purchase a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Conway Services today and get up to $1,750 back plus a free Nest thermostat when Conway Services buys back your old, inefficient HVAC system. Guaranteed service and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Conway Services today.
Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Response to the all-new Genesis Diamonds has been incredible. People are loving what we brought to Memphis. Genesis is a different kind of jewelry store with more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place at prices you never thought possible. What's the Genesis secret? Our owner was born and raised in the diamond industry in Tel Aviv. After selling wholesale to high-end jewelry retailers for years, he hated the insane markups they were getting away with. So he stopped selling to the stores and started selling direct to the public. That philosophy is still a core part of Genesis DNA as we continue to sell the highest quality diamonds at true no middleman direct importer prices. With international connections and massive buying power, Genesis has what it takes to beat anyone else's price every day on every diamond. Discover the Genesis difference, forever changing how people in Memphis buy diamonds and fine jewelry. Now open at Poplar and Perkins, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
Who's squeezing in one last getaway this summer? Before you take off, protect your home with Simply Safe's new 24/7 Live Guard protection. If an intruder breaks in, Simply Safe monitoring agents can see, speak to, and deter, warning them police are on the way. Right now, my listeners get a special 20% off any Simply Safe system when you sign up for free and a free month at Fast Protect Monitoring. This special offer limited time only. Visit simplysafecolin.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
These next two games we're going to talk about. Next two games I really like a lot. The third one I could go either way with. I'm interested to talk to you about it because I want to hear what you have to say. You know, I really value our time talking to each other, Brian.
I tell you what, I've really gotten into soccer. Kind of an aside, but I'm sitting here watching the soccer game. I've really gotten into soccer.
I want you to finish that thought. I really do. This would have been excellent.
Okay.
This would have been excellent.
Me so off guard to start the show.
This would have been so good to talk about.
For the last week, 2 weeks, anytime we've done a show, we've come in, we've gotten, all right, what'd you think of the games last night? Let's start gambling. And then today you come in and you go, you know, Brian, I really just want to know about you. Thought I was in therapy for a second. I was like, what? It caught me so off guard. I didn't know what to do. I was like a deer in headlights. Not good for radio, by the way. And I had nothing to talk about. I didn't know what was going on. I was so confused. But man,
if you run like an improv seminar or like class where you could like teach people some things, hit us up, bro. We could get Brian in an improv class so he could be more like on his feet,
so caught off
like
guard.
ready to go with something.
You could have warned me our pre-show meeting this morning at like 4 a.m. You could have mentioned it to me.
You could have said you were caught off guard. That would have been good radio, too. That would have been good conversation.
But I feel like all the questions were pointed at me.
Anyway, let's hear about soccer.
I don't know. I've gotten into it. The only thing that's wrong with soccer is the big league.
Is nothing.
Well,
anyway, go ahead.
The big league that everyone pays attention to is the Premier League, right? That seems like the cream of the crop, the top league.
Champions League.
Champions League, but that's more of like a tournament.
Their Premier League teams in the Champions League.
In there. Premier League's just too early. I mean, those games are like 6 a.m., 9 a.m. It's too early for me. I can't wake up and just start watching.
So instead, you're watching the USL Championship.
Well, I mean, this is just. I mean, it's a Wednesday morning.
That is a hilarious
what am I
statement.
supposed to do?
That is a hilarious statement to anybody that likes soccer.
That's not why. I'm just saying, like the past year, I've started watching like the Premier League.
You bought the MLS service.
Well, but I don't. MLS isn't a great product.
Brian, in my experience, everybody that I know that really likes soccer would laugh at the way that you consume soccer.
No. I've been watching the Premier League. I've been watching the Women's World Cup. The Women's World Cup has really been getting me fired up about soccer the last couple of weeks. Those ladies, they can play some mean soccer. I'll tell you what. Oh yeah. And so I don't know. I've just been really into soccer.
Well, good.
And the Premier League starts in 2 weeks, so I'm gonna try to get really invested this year.
Good. Do it.
I'll try.
I'll hold you to that.
I'll try.
You got a team? Pick a team.
Oh, I do. The Wolverhampton Wanderers, but they call them Wolves. So that's my squad.
Well, at 2:10 today in Major League Baseball transition, the Padres play the Rockies, and this should be a good game. This series is tied 1-1. Like I said in the first segment, the Rockies won Game 1, a super delayed game, so kind of fluky it seems like. Rockies games at home are tough to handicap sometimes because, like, all signs always point to tons of runs. The lines are always high because of altitude. Everyone hears about altitude and stuff like that. And so it kind of throws your...
But they really haven't scored a lot of runs, these two teams.
It kind of throws your statistics and stuff like that for a loop because of all those things. And so maybe it's due, maybe it's not. I don't know. Here's what I do know. The Padres have the 11th best average and the 6th best OPS against lefties, and Colorado's throwing a lefty today. Let's first talk about Joe Musgrove, though, who's a Cy Young candidate going for the Padres. A 1.45 ERA in July. He's 4-1 through 5 starts. That one loss, though, at Detroit. Go figure that.
Time out. Are we sure? We might want to double-check starting pitcher for the Padres.
Great call. Nick Martinez, I see listed now. It's no longer
But it
Joe
was
Musgrove.
Joe Musgrove this morning, so.
Well, that changes everything.
It sure does. Sure does. Glad I caught that.
Crap.
And Nick Martinez, he hadn't pitched in a while, has he?
Well, I had Joe Musgrove over 17.5 outs, so that's a shame.
Nick Martinez, they've been using him out of the pen.
I also had the under 6 at plus 110.
So I wonder what happened to Joe Musgrove. Is
a
he
lot of
an
that
injury or something?
A lot of that was due to Joe Musgrove being on the mound.
Yep.
I had the Rockies team total over 2.5 runs, though, at even money. So that's good at least.
Yeah,
I like that even better now. I guess I'm just going to stick with what I got. I've got under 6 and the Rockies team total over 2.5. Something's got to give, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got to give.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
Vegas expected, when I looked at this morning, none of these notes really make any sense. I guess I'll talk about Kyle Freeland. He's a left-handed pitcher, like I said. He's got a 4.32 and 3 starts in July. He's allowed 3 or more runs in 3 of the last 4 home starts. The one he didn't, though, was against the Padres. Go figure that. Maybe bet on the come today. It looked like when I was handicapping this morning, Vegas expected San Diego to explode for runs.
Yeah.
And I was kind of betting against that a little bit. Like you said, this series has not gone as expected in terms of runs. It's kind of unders have been hitting right there in a lot of ways. But all that's thrown out the window now. So I still like the Rockies' first 5 team total over 2.5 runs at plus 100 at even money, though. But I really took that to cover the under 6, so maybe take it anyway.
Maybe.
You're probably getting a better price on the under 6 now that Joe Musgrove isn't out there.
Yeah, it looks like 97.3 The Fan in San Diego. Shout out to them. He's got a sore shoulder.
That's too bad. So. All right, real quick before we run out of time here, we probably only have time for one more game. Red Sox Mariners. You like the Mariners, Brian. This is a good game to talk about.
I already kind of got a peek at one of your plays for this, and I'm not a fan.
Series is tied 1-1 in this one. I tell you what. The Red Sox are playing really good baseball. They're winning games. They're scoring runs, not just in Fenway Park either. They're winning games and scoring runs. They're playing good baseball, like you just said. Cutter Crawford, spelled with a K to connote strikeouts, but he does not throw a cutter, so it's not spelled with a C. Cutter Crawford on the mound for the Red Sox. He has a 3.55 in July and a 4.71 in June. How about this? His last 5 outings, 0 runs at San Francisco, throw it out. 4 runs, 0 runs, 4 runs, 2 runs. So 2 zeros in there, one of them San Francisco. 3-1 in 5 July starts and 3-0 on the road in that span. He's 4-1 his last 5 road starts. Logan Gilbert going for the Mariners, 2.78 ERA in July and a 4.45 in June. His last 5 starts, 0 runs, 5 runs, 2 runs, 0 runs, and 0 runs at San Francisco. Throw it out. 4-0 is last. He's 4-0 in 5 July starts and 1-0 with 1 no decision at home in that span. The numbers indicate that Logan Gilbert is better on the road than at home.
I was just about to say that. How weird. Now
I'm not sure there's anything indicative of that, like actually, but it does. The numbers do say that.
It's interesting, yeah.
So here's what I have today. Logan Gilbert under 5.5 strikeouts is plus 112. If you look at his strikeout numbers, he's right around that line. And we just said the Red Sox are playing good baseball, and they don't strike out a lot either.
They don't. Eighth in strikeouts.
I'm taking under 5.5 at plus 112, and I'm also taking Cutter Crawford over 5.5 strikeouts. The Mariners strike out the most in baseball. This is plus 120. I know these don't technically have anything to do with each other, these two guys' strikeout totals, but both at plus 112 and plus 120. I'm going to take both, and if one hits, I still make money, and I think both really have a good chance of hitting. Go ahead.
I will say this. You talk about how bad Seattle is when it comes to strikeouts. Second most strikeouts in Major League Baseball.
Oh, I thought it was second most.
Second most.
Behind the Twins?
Behind the Twins.
But
when I tell you, it's like, they're neck and neck.
Yeah, so they're always going back and forth here. I wrote down over 4.5 at even money and over 8 at even money. I don't love that because of how the Mariners are so hit or miss for scoring runs, but I think the Red Sox can score runs. So instead, what I just did, the Red Sox are winning today. First 5 money line, I got it plus 115. I really like that a lot. I was tempted to take the Red Sox on the money line plus 115 for the game. I just think the Red Sox win today in every respect, but I felt weird doubling down. I just felt it was unnecessary to double down on the first 5 money line and the game money line, even though I did do that for the Braves in the first game. But, like I said, the Mariners are a little bit hit or miss, too, so I didn't want to do that. What do you think of those plays now that I've finished talking?
No, I mean, I think...
do you like the over more? I didn't take the over. I just wrote them down. Do you like the overs more than I do?
No, I don't think so. Like you said, I mean, it seems like both these teams are very, even though Boston's playing really well, both these teams can either, put up 5 runs apiece or put up 2 runs apiece. I mean, very easily. So I probably went back. I love both of your strikeout plays for sure. Those seem like really good plays.
This is probably my favorite game today.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a good one. Afternoon game. So in Boston, I mean, if you're going to bet on Boston right now, seems like the time to do it. Seattle got the first one, but Boston was kind of all over them last night. So I think Boston's playing really good baseball. So I think this is the time to do it.
The only other game we didn't get to is Phillies-Marlins. Starts before 6 o'clock. I don't really have a good play on this game. Braxton Garrett's going. He's been terrible. Zach Wheeler's going for the Phillies. He's been okay. I said over 4, maybe over 7.5 for the game. Both those are even or plus money. I don't know if I'm playing this game. I've had a terrible feel for this series. I have been awful on the Phillies-Marlins series. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. That's all I got for today. Johnny Radio's next. Listen to Sports Time with Bryant and Brett at 3 o'clock.
They're taking care of business.